All right, who's ready to get younger tomorrow? Yes? All right. Here we go.
They say the holy water's watered down, and this town's lost its faith. Our colors will fade eventually, so if our time is running out, day after day, we'll make the mundane our masterpiece. Oh my love. I take one look at you, you're taking me out of the ordinary. How would you lay me down till we're dead and buried? On the edge of your knife, staying drunk on your ride. The angels up in the clouds are jealous knowing we found something so out of the ordinary. You got me kissing the ground of your sanctuary. Shatter me with your touch, oh Lord, return me to dust. The angels up in the clouds are jealous knowing we found hopeless hallelujah on this side of heaven.
All right, start off with that video because it highlights something very, very important. You saw the two sides. This is not easy. It is not a short time. It takes time, but if you want to make the changes, like this is possible. I have seen dozens of people sitting in these same seats, high A1Cs, fatty liver, weight to lose, muscle to build, health to regain, making a choice in a situation like this, a simple chiropractic Tuesday night seminar, and that was the catalyst. So if you think like, I'm just kind of coming to here and just kind of, putz around, like, yes, you can, or this can be massive for you. You can have a really massive life shift towards getting healthier as you're getting older. So everything we're doing today is about getting younger tomorrow. There's no such thing as anti-aging. I'm not going to lie to you. That doesn't exist. But there is aging rapidly and aging slowly. So my goal for you is to age slowly. And this is not a new concept. This is ancient. So there is an ancient mythological story of the, his name's Tithonius. Anybody ever heard of Tithonius? Okay, so the story goes like this. There's a Greek goddess flying across the sky, beautiful, and looking down at all the mortals. And she's like, I fell in love with the Prince of Troy, but the problem is that mortals die. So I need to ask Zeus, that Prince of Troy, Tithonius, if he can live forever. So she goes to Zeus and says, please, can you grant him eternal life? He says, yes. The problem was she didn't ask for eternal health. So despite Tithonius living long, his body wasted away, and the mythology he turns into a cicada to chirp for the rest of his life. Like, it's a very sad, but very intense picture of, we want lifespan. You hear that in the news, Americans living longer than ever before. Brian Johnson, never die. 120, 150 years they're telling us that we can now live. But what good is it to live a long time if your health doesn't match it? So I want health span for you guys. It's not the number of the candles on your cake, it's how brightly they burn. So what we're talking about is how to maximize health span from the behaviors that you have right now. So first, we're going to talk about the two main roadblocks that I see people run into right off the bat. The first one is genetics. Anybody know what type of rats these are? They're lab rats. They're called specifically agouti rats. And the way agouti rats are bred is to have the same genes and very fine tuning, kind of like Mendel's peas, where he changed the peas to see what genetics look like. They do the same thing today with lab rats. So these rats have almost identical genetics. Okay? The light colored one on your left has the genetic defect that creates obesity and diabetes and shortens the lifespan compared to other rats by 50%. Okay? This one has the same defect, but none of the symptoms. The one change is that the rat's mother was given vitamin B12 and folate during pregnancy. And that one nutritional change changed the trajectory and turned off the genetic code that was built in for dysfunction and disease. So this is one change making a massive difference. If this can work in rats, imagine what it can do in humans. And that's just one change. So this is something where genetics load the gun and lifestyle pulls the trigger. You can have bad genes. I hear it from everybody. Oh, my dad, died young of heart disease, or my mom had breast cancer, my grandma had breast cancer, so I'm going to have it too. Anybody ring a bell with this? Like, this is very, very common. You have power over your genes. It's a concept called epigenetics, and it's all determined by your lifestyle. So if rats can change their outlook, so can you. At maximum, your genes, studies show, like the greatest level, 15 to 25% of your health. So that means 75 to 85% is all up to your lifestyle. That is a message of hope and awesomeness. Okay, second piece. Geese, a goose. Goose, geese? Yeah, goose. Goose is plural. What is it? Geese. Okay, this is a goose. I am not a goose, and neither are you. And we're going to say that together in just a minute. But the reason why is because there is a distinct difference between humans and the rest of animals. What do geese do in the winter?
Fly south.
Fly south.
And a bunch of them.
Yes, lots of them. Why do they do this? Because it's in their DNA, it's in their makeup that there is something better and warm south. There's Arizona, there's Mexico, I don't know where they go. Where do they go? Mexico? Okay, so here's the thing. What if it's an odd winter and south is actually not good? What if something happened and that changed? Is the goose capable of changing? No. Because it's instinctively driven in its DNA, it doesn't have the capacity to change. This is the difference. Humans can live a certain way for 30, 50, 65 years, and then on the account of new information, change the trajectory of their life, just like that. So on the count of 3, I want everybody to say with me, I am not a goose. You ready? 1, 2, 3. I am not a goose. Okay, yes, you have the capacity to change. So this digs deep into mindset. That's the second roadblock. I see people all the time saying, hey doc, you don't understand. I've had this disease since I was a kid. I've had headaches since I was 9, and I'm now 40. That's a gal who's been in our office. She no longer has headaches. You don't understand. I've been on thyroid medication since I was a teenager. We've had people come off thyroid medication. You don't understand. My parents were overweight. There's no possibility this could change. I've tried this before. Just remember, I am not a goose. You are not a goose. You can change. So this is what we want to look at. Even though this might not be driving for some of you, this is going to be driving for a lot of you. This is the work back schedule. So if you guys were around in the last 2 weeks in the office, we had those 2 chairs, the beach chair and the wheelchair. We don't want to be, on account of things that we do, ending up in the wheelchair. What we want to do is have an amazing lifestyle with freedom and health and vitality in our 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond. So what I put together is called the Centenarian Decathlon. These are things that if you can do them in your later years, that is a sign of vitality and health. So let's just talk about some of these, and then we'll add some more as a group. So first, this is a very good sign. If you look across the blue zones, which are the zones where people live to 100 years and beyond, oftentimes, in at least 3 of the 7, it's very hilly. On the islands of the Mediterranean, people are walking everywhere and it's hilly. So when you are getting older, you want to be able to hike at least 1.5 miles. So if you are not older, what that looks like now is going on the Queen Creek Wash or going to Santan Regional Mountain and getting your hikes in. You should be able, if you are not even close to 70s or 80s, you want to be able to at least double or triple that distance. So that's the first one. The second one, get up off the floor under your own power using only one arm for support. This takes practice. If you can't do that now, this is life alert. We got to practice this stuff. This is where workouts and using our body comes into play. Picking up a young child from the floor. This touches home for me because I've got 4 kids and they get heavy, and I can feel it sometimes in my back getting Mac out of the crib. Like, oh, there. You have to be able to be good at it now, and this takes practice. This looks like working out and getting your squats in, okay? Carrying 2 5-pound bags of groceries, lifting a 20-pound suitcase into the overhead compartment of a plane. This is like a shoulder press workout. Balancing on one leg. The number one cause of dysfunction where the line really starts going downhill are falls in later life, okay? Climbing stairs, opening a jar. Grip strength is one of the number one key denominators to longevity and gold medals in the Olympics. So if you have good grip strength, that means there's health. And lastly, being able to ride a bike, because that combines all of the balance, the quick speed, the coordination, the things you need to have to be able to age with health and not just quantity. So I want to hear from you guys, just a couple. Share anything that you want to be able to do when you are 80, 90, 100. Anything that's not in there, just shout it out and we'll talk about it.
Get out of a chair.
Get out of a chair, yes. Being able to get up off a chair like these comfy metal ones, or in that one back there, Travis, yes, without pain, huge. So what would be the work back for that now? Like, this is what I'm trying to instill is like, exercise, leg muscles, hiking, stair climbing, like using those legs now. Because if you don't use it, you lose it. Okay, let's do 2 more. What's another one that you want to be able to do? I mean, this could be anything. This could be travel. This could be focus and brain power. This could be play with your grandkids. Yes, you want to be able to wear them out, not be the person sitting on the bench, not being able to play with them. So that means, again, you got to have lung capacity. You got to have strength. You've got to have good sleep. So all of those things happen now. What about one more? Ride a roller coaster. What'd you say? Yeah, roller coaster. How do we prep for roller coaster? What is that? Yeah, so you know what? This is kind of thinking on my feet. The number one cause of dizziness, vertigo. Anybody ever have vertigo? Room spinning? Anybody know that's actually a metabolic disorder? Most common, not always, but the crystals in your ears, that is highly linked, not always, but highly linked to A1C, blood sugar, triglycerides. So you keep that stuff low now. The main reason I see people not ride roller coasters is, hey, I get too dizzy and nauseous or my neck hurts. So taking care of your body now stacks the deck in your favor. That's good. So if you guys are note takers or meditators on this stuff, I encourage you, sit with this. You know, you start with the end in mind. Simon Sinek, who has the largest, most watched TEDx video ever, says begin with the end in mind. Like, what is the end goal? Work it back. What has to happen now to hit it? Like, not just pie in the sky. Like, what would need to happen for you to have not just a normal last decade of life, but a remarkable last decade of life? The average American spends 9.9 years in a nursing home. So that last decade, they call it the marginal decade because your health is dependent on people around you. What if we could switch that for everybody here, and then that spread to loved ones and family members and church members to not just marginal, but remarkable? That's what we want. So it takes that work back. So sit with that, journal it. Okay. Biological age is another thing we've talked about in the last couple of weeks. You've got your chronological birthday, okay, number of years you've been on planet Earth, but then you've got your biological with how old you are on the inside. Everybody has looked at people who are their same age and said one of 2 things. Oh my gosh, time has not been good to that person. Or same age and been like, oh my gosh, they haven't aged a day. And we talked about genetics, that is a play, but up to at most 25%. So what's the difference? If you guys like taking tests and you want to get your biological age, scan this QR code or take your phone out and take a picture of it. We also have a biological age scanner in the back that you stand, don't shake your head. It's good. This is accountability that you can make changes with. But if your age biologically is coming up older than your chronological age, we've got work to do. If it's younger, It doesn't mean take the foot off the gas. It means, hey, you're in the right direction, keep going.
But if it's just a couple of years older, then I'm doing pretty good.
You're doing good, but don't rest there, because it's like, hey, my blood pressure's not that high. It's like, my diabetes is not that bad. My pain isn't all the time. Like, yes, if you compare to the norm, the commonality, it's fine, but we don't just want fine. We want the remarkable last decade. So that's the biggest shift, is that if you look around and your lifestyle and your habits and your biological age is very similar to everyone else, like, oh, I'm kind of in the middle of the pack, I'm good, you will get middle of the pack results. Statistics, 9.9 years, 12 medications. Like this, the statistics of the American are not ideal. So you have to live a radically different life now if you want radically different results. So that would be my encouragement to you guys, okay? So what you have to realize is, here's what I say, or here's what I hear in a different version. People say, well, that's not gonna be me. I hear you say nursing home, I hear you talk about diabetes and Alzheimer's being worse than ever before, and heart disease, but you don't understand, that's not me. I'm fine right now. What I have to show you are trend lines. And this is what I want to focus on just for a minute. Diabetes, type 2. In 1940, it was 1 in 300. 30 years later, 1 in 50. Now, in people over the age of 65, it's 1 in 3. Do you see the trend? Like, getting more common. So when I hear people say, oh, that's not going to be me, or hey, I'm over 65 and I don't have diabetes, I say, great. But when you look at your blood tests, if everybody's have a blood test, and you're saying, hey, the diabetic range of A1C is, 5 or 6, and I'm 5.4, I'm fine. Like, no, you're not fine. There's years of dysfunction that lead up before there's disease. And then there's potentially years of disease that build up before there's a symptom. So if you want to go back to the earliest, you have to say, hey, even though I might not have full-blown diabetes, you got to dig in and do the work now so it doesn't perform into that. Because here's what happens. You got to change the direction, because when you talk about diabetes and aging, the biggest thing, the word that comes up is metabolism. And metabolism can be interpreted in a lot of different ways. Most commonly, people think high metabolism means you must be what? Skinny. Metabolism, skinny. That's not true. Like, it goes way deeper than that. Really, the answer to metabolism is, okay, it's about how you age, it's about brain health, it's about sleep and breathing and heart disease. This is not just numbers on a scale. That is an indicator, but it is just one compared to the rest. Metabolism is, what does your body do with a calorie? That's where it lands. So here's how we got to think of it, and why you got to be thinking about your metabolism differently now. Even if you say, hey, I work out, I have a great metabolism. You have about 1 teaspoon of sugar in your blood, okay? Who knows what it's called when you have 1.5 teaspoons of sugar in your blood? Too much. That's diabetes. That's how narrowly fine-tuned this Lamborghini engine that God created us to have. It's like, you want proof that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, like the fine-tuning of sugar, insulin, glucagon, and all the other hormones is so precise. So here's the problem. We've got ancient genetics. Genetics have not changed. They take ages for it to change. Yet our lifestyle from the 1940s has changed drastically. Your body knows what to do with an apple. What happens when it experiences an apple pie? Okay? This is what happens. This is the analogy. So you take in food, let's say an apple, it's got a normal level of sugar that your body says, hey, I've seen apples before, those have been around since the garden, yep, I got this. It takes the sugar, breaks it down, some of it gets burned off as energy, some of it gets stored in the liver, and some of it gets stored as glycogen in the muscle, ready for use for later. And the liver is then going to dish out sugar into the bloodstream, that 1 teaspoon level, to keep you moving when you need energy, okay? When you have an apple pie or a donut or something that's way more than your body's used to seeing, the bathtub overflows. So think of the bathtub, you've got the drain and you've got the faucet. If the drain is clogged and the faucet is running, eventually it's going to flood. And that overflow is going to start to damage the bathroom, which then spreads to damage in the rest of the house, into the garage, the kids' room, the playroom, the piano, the basement, and now you got mold. Like it's a mess waiting to happen. This is the same thing that happens with sugar. Your body can't hold all the sugar in, and so it spills over into the blood, and then it spills over into the rest of the body. Here's what that starts to look like. Tell me if these are consistent with what you've seen. Sugar in your brain, dementia and Alzheimer's. Dementia is now caused type 3 diabetes. You want to decrease risk of dementia, decrease your sugar. Sugar in your eyes, glaucoma. I don't know if you guys know this, but lots of diabetes cases are caught when you go to the eye doctor. They can see changes in the vasculature of your eyes because of sugar. Sugar in your blood, diabetes. It used to be called the sweet disease because blood and urine would taste sweet, and that's how they would diagnose it in the ancient days. Sugar in your teeth, cavities in your skin, aging, in your sleep, insomnia, sugar in your body, cancer. If you ever looked at cancer tests, PET scans, they'll do a radiated sugary drink that when you drink it, it lights up areas of your body. The areas that light up are cancerous because sugar feeds cancer. You want to starve cancer? Decrease the sugar. Sugar in your liver, fatty liver, we're going to dig into that a little bit. Sugar in your gut, dysbiosis. The gut microbiome is shifted. Cells, oxidative stress in your joints, stiffness. I have had people who are getting ready for a hip replacement, thumb replacement, carpal tunnel surgeries, shoulder issues, and I said, hey, cut the sugar, 2 weeks, no surgery, no replacement because their joints feel great. Like many of you are patients in this office. Imagine how well your shoulders, your back, your upper neck would feel if you laid off sugar for 2, 3, 4 months, okay? So that's what the overflow is. Now to get into a little more specifics, this is what we look at with metabolic syndrome. So they say if you have 3 of these, you have full-blown metabolic syndrome, which is what we're talking about today. For being younger tomorrow, you don't want to have any issues with your metabolism. I'm saying if you have 1 of these, that's a red flag. So glucose above 100 milligrams, fasting glucose. If you haven't eaten and they check your blood, if it's over 100, we got to bring that down. Central obesity. In men, that's a 40-inch waist. In women, 35. Anything above that, we've got to bring down because central is different than legs and arms and back. It's around the organs and it starts crushing the organs. So we got to keep that down. Triglycerides. Triglycerides, when it's high, it just means that the bucket is overflowing or the tub is overflowing, and that is fat overflowing in the blood. So that is fat spilling over. HDL being too low, okay, or blood pressure being above 130 or over 130 over 85. So if you have 3 of those, that's not good. If you have 1 of those, I would say that's not good. Because from here, from these diagnoses, this is where we get fatty liver. This is where we get gut dysbiosis, chronic fatigue syndrome, rheumatoid arthritis flares up. All these things that are seemingly unrelated, insomnia, it all links back to this. So what does it have to do with your liver? Normal liver on the left, cirrhosis on the right. This is where a lot of the body's sugar is stored. Non-alcoholic fatty liver, then it turns into non-alcoholic steatohepatic liver, and then it goes to full-blown cirrhosis. It used to be liver death was here, and this is where liver transplants were, okay? From drinking too much. We don't have that anymore. In 2000, fatty livers, like in this area, made up of 1% of all liver transplants. Now, 95%. Not from alcohol, but from a disease of abundance. We have too much and the liver cannot handle it. So if you've been told you have cysts on your liver, or you're waking up at 3 a.m. insomnia, like I don't know what to do, or you've been told you have non-alcoholic fatty liver, you can reverse it. It just has to happen now because once it gets to here, it's difficult, if not impossible, to go back. So, but I'll show you today how to reverse that very, very simply. But before we go into solution, let's just for a moment look at what the standard or conventional medical approach is. And this is the CDC's recommendations to blood pressure. And it's crazy, okay? So, number one, blood pressure. Follow your doctor's instructions and stay on your medications. That's number one. Stay on it, comply. Number two, healthy diet, low in salt, low in fat, and cholesterol. We can go into why that's not okay, but I don't agree with that either. I do agree with don't smoke, like you shouldn't smoke. I'm with them on that. But lastly, expect to treat high blood pressure for life. What do they want you treating it with? Drugs. For how long?
Ever.
Life. Raise your hand if you want to be on medications voluntarily for life. Like, Travis? Okay, we got one. Thank you, Travis. No, but this is the problem. And I'm not bashing medical doctors because back in the day, we died from emergency problems, accidents, diarrhea, things that needed massive intervention and drugs to keep us alive. Now, we don't have that. We have slow diseases, heart disease, cancer, like all these things. But if the approach is the same way, to just give a medication for the rest of your life, that is not fixing the root cause, that is managing a symptom. And your job is not to manage symptoms. It is to get to the root cause and heal just like you're designed to. Are there limitations of matter? Yes, but it should be. I mean, what if this said, hey, number one is start moving more, eating God food, and come into a health seminar like this? Like, why not that? Like, this is the difference between what I'm talking about here and what the standard system is saying. So if you want something different and root cause, like you guys all do, that's why you're here, you got to see this for what it is and exit that system. Don't listen to it. The three things you want to do to fix this stuff, your metabolism and your hormones, these are the three needle movers to keep you out of a wheelchair for the rest of your life. Exercise, nutrition, and nervous system. And we're going to dig in. So this is how you fix the drain of the bathtub, and this is how you keep it from overflowing and turn the nozzle off. So number one, exercise. Exercise, if you could put it in a pill and you could sell it, you would be a trillionaire. It is magic. It will decrease your overall risk of mortality and Alzheimer's and heart disease by insane amounts. Just exercising for 18 minutes a day, 5 days a week, decreases all causes of death by 20%. Pretty cool. Living longer, not dying. If you up that from 18 minutes a day to 30 minutes a day, just Monday through Friday, Alzheimer's and heart disease decrease by 50%. Who wants that? Yes, please. The number one reason people don't exercise is time. I don't have enough time. There are other reasons, but that is the number one. What I'm talking about and what you'll get today via QR code and all our package here for free is exercises pre-planned for you that take minutes a day, between 12 and 20, that you can get massive changes just like this. So you got to take it daily though. This is not a one pill fix. That's the only lie I've said all night is it's not a pill. It's because you have to do it every single day. It's not magic. The specific type of exercise we're looking at is metabolic conditioning. This is vigorous exercise. You might see it as CrossFit or F45 or Orange Theory or all these stuff. You do not have to be into any of those things to be doing metabolic conditioning. You can be any age, have any injury, have any health thing going on, and still participate in vigorous activity, and you will not get injured, and I'll show you how. But it doesn't mean that there is not a benefit to getting your 10,000 steps, stretching, slow walking, like those are all good. But if your goal is to build muscle and burn fat and get the metabolism going, it has to be vigorous. And we'll talk about that. And you can see it clearly depicted at the highest levels. You've got a marathon runner here and an Olympic sprinter here. Both Olympians, but drastically different body types. Which one do you think is going to be able to put the luggage in the overhead compartment if the course stays the same? Sprinter, right? Healthy heart, but we want the metabolism, the muscle mass, the human growth hormone, all of that. This has its place. I love running. I love long, steady state aerobic. But if you want to build muscle, burn fat, and increase metabolism, you have to get out of breath, increase the intensity, and you'll build testosterone and HGH. And for women in the audience, you might see testosterone and think, oh, that's not for me. Like, you need that. You need that for bone density, for muscular stability, not as much as a guy, but you absolutely need that, and this is how you build it. When you go super long distance far, your body is smart. It's going to start shedding and burning itself. So marathon running, high level achievements examples, your body says, hey, I don't need all this muscle. I'm 3 hours into this. I gotta start shedding some of this muscle. So it's gonna start breaking down and wasting muscle and holding on to fat to keep your energy stores up so you can finish that long race. And it's gonna slow your metabolism so you become more energy efficient. I don't want my metabolism slowing. I don't think anybody else here does either, unless you're specifically trying to get your marathon to improve, like you want this, okay? So what does that look like in the literature? Here's what it is, and I won't go through all of it, but high intensity is great for fat burning, great for muscle building, regulates blood sugar, increases lung capacity, which is great for oxygen to your brain and fighting dementia and Alzheimer's, and is great for heart health. So this is not just your crazy chiropractor talking about this. This is backed up by the literature. What does high intensity look like? What does it mean? It means one thing, breathing hard, okay? If you can get to the point, like you'll even see people with heart rate, I would even say erase this, like yes, but if you don't have a heart rate monitor, if you can go to the point where you are breathing hard and you can stay there, that is your level of vigorous, high intensity exercise. If you get there consistently, yours might be different from mine, that might be different from Emily's, like it's all different, but it's all based on what your effort is. So I'm gonna ask something of two people in the audience. I just need two. I want, and you'll get a prize from this, but I want to have a example of what vigorous exercise looks like. So if I could have two volunteers, I'm not gonna hurt you, this is not injury, you're not gonna be embarrassed, but I just need two. Travis, thank you, Travis. Come on up, Travis. We need one more. We need one more. Anybody, come on. Ilyas, okay, awesome, awesome. Okay, so this is gonna be good. Kira, if you can hit some music here, what we're gonna do, guys, is we're gonna do 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. And what I want you guys to see is there's gonna be different movements with different levels of intensity, but they're gonna come to the same conclusion. So, Ilyas, I'm gonna give you the hard one. I'm gonna have you do squats.
What?
Okay, here, you can stand actually over here. You're just gonna do squats, just like this, okay? Right there. Travis.
Give him the burpees, right?
You're gonna stand right here. You're just going to pump your arms in place, okay? So, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. I'm gonna set a timer, and we're gonna do this 3 times. And I want you guys to cheer for them because they are getting out of their comfort zone. Are you guys ready? You're gonna squat for 20 seconds, you're gonna pump your arm for 20 seconds, then we'll rest for 10. Ready, set, go. Okay, let's give these guys a hand, come on. Come on, Travis, faster. You got it, go, Ilyas, go, go, go. Okay, keep going. All right, you got 10 seconds left, keep going, keep going. You guys are doing great, 15 seconds, keep going, and rest. Okay, you've got 10 seconds of rest. So this is, you just got to an intensity level. You're not doing anything crazy, but you're feeling it, right?
I'm sweating.
You're sweating, okay. Ilyas, okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Keep going, okay. Go, go, go. You got 20 seconds as hard as you can. Keep going. You can see the difference. He's doing a different movement, he's doing a different movement. So your knees hurt, you pump your arms, almost there. 5 more seconds. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, and stop. Okay, now Travis, let's talk. How's that feel?
I'm in the same spot.
Yeah, okay. Good job. Let's give these guys a hand. We'll just do 2 rounds. Okay. We've got protein of your choosing in the back. So you guys both get a whole bottle of protein. Thank you. You guys rock. Okay. Good job. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you see how they're out of breath. They're doing drastically different motions. They You probably could have even done more, but I'm trying to get the point across where if you have, hey, doc, I've got a knee issue. I can't do that. Or, I don't know if my joints can take it. All sorts of stuff. Like, there is always something that you can do. And this is where, like, I want you guys to like me, but I more importantly want you guys to trust me. Like, so I'm going to say this lovingly. Like, some people just need to stop making excuses and get creative. And what I mean by that, and I'm in that category of like, I'm tired, I don't want to work out, I've got a bum shoulder, I worked adjusting these patients all day. It's like there is always a level of intensity that you can do. So get after it. Okay, so with what I wanted to show you, you're going to have a QR code with workouts completely for free. They don't look just like that, but they're between 4 minutes to 20 minutes long, so super doable, that you can do to help build muscle, burn fat, and get your metabolism back on order. But here are all the things that these workouts benefit. And the one rule with our Max T3 workout system is that injuries are not allowed, and that you never want to find out that you did too much today, tomorrow. So soreness is okay, but it's all about being useful. It's not like, oh my gosh, I worked out so hard I can barely walk. Like, oh, that's too much. That's not usefulness. That doesn't help me. That doesn't help you. So when you work out, and the T stands for 3 things: time, tempo, and intensity. You've got energy systems on the right that it's regulating hormones. You've got the EPOC, which is the energy that you are burning after your workout. So if you are on a treadmill for an hour and you're walking steady state, you burn X amount of calories. When you stop, your heart rate goes right back down. Everything goes back to the baseline. If you get your heart rate and your breathing rate up like you just saw Ilias and Travis do, when you leave and you stop, you have the EPOC effect, which is fat burning and metabolism building up to 72 hours after you finish. There is an exercise business that is surrounding this one idea. Does anybody know what it's called? Orange theory. This is their business model. Orange stands for the orange level instead of red, red being max heart rate, orange being 80 to 90% heart rate. If you stay there for, I think it's over a third of your workout, you get into this EPOC effect. That's their whole business model. That's why they do the heart rates, they do everything. They just are going for that. Burn fat while you sleep. Who likes that? Yes, that's what it takes. And it doesn't take even the 45 minutes that people will do at Orange Theory. You can do it in as little as minutes a day. Helps your heart, mitochondrial numbers, and then this stuff, muscular power, balance, and agility. Like when we talk about the centenarian decathlon, the fitness elements that it benefits are massive, okay? All right, so we talked about exercise. Now I got to get into neurospinal fitness. And this is where the chiropractic stuff comes in, because your spine is not just the piece of your body that holds you upright. It is the wiring that connects your brain to the rest of everything. For your heart to beat and your lungs to breathe, this system has to be working right. And if we cut the nerves that go to the heart stops, we die. If we pinch the nerves that go to the heart doesn't stop, but it gets sicker over time, not healthier. And that same thing is true with any pressure on the nerves that go to the rest of the organs. So what we want to see is that when you guys are getting adjusted, it's like, how does that tie into my longevity? Well, it affects your stress response and your DNA. When you are getting adjusted, your body's ability to handle stress and genetic malformations and to repair goes up. If you guys have ever looked into longevity science and heard of telomeres, raise your hand if you've ever heard of telomeres. Okay, I'm seeing a couple. Think of telomeres like your shoelaces, the end little plastic piece on the end of your shoe. That's at the end of your DNA strands. The longer that is, the longer your lifespan. As we age, it gets shorter and shorter and shorter until it goes out, and then that's it. So chiropractic adjustments in the literature help maintain and lengthen telomeres. So I don't have the adjustment to make you live longer, but if we can maintain and lengthen telomeres, that is correlated and associated to longer lifespan and health span. So this is not just about back pain and neck pain. This is so much more. It's also about the structure. So if you cut the nerve flow stops, end organ dies, okay? Here's the problem. If you pinch the nerve and put pressure on it, the pressure of a dime, or they've even looked at the pressure of a feather, nerve conduction velocity, the speed at which the brain sends messages down to the organs and back, drops by 40%. So here's what happens with your posture. When your head starts going forward and you start having this text neck posture, or if you're watching Netflix with your head against the headboard all night, every bit that goes forward, if your head is forward at 45 degrees, it's adding 50 pounds of weight on the lower cervical spine. My neck hurts just reading that, okay? But imagine what happens on the inside of those nerves if you're living like that. Do you think that's more than the weight of a feather or a dime? Yes. This is why it's called the dead man's curve. If you look at people in a nursing home or who are stuck on oxygen therapy, oftentimes the posture is like this, okay? I want everybody to do a quick little example. Everyone slouch as much as you can and bring your chin down. And keeping that posture, take a breath as deep as you can. Ready? Okay, you feel it kind of catch? Okay, now everyone sit up as tall as you can, chest up, shoulders back. Same thing, deep breath in. You see how it keeps going? That's the difference. You guys can relax. But that difference, imagine what your blood oxygen content is here and how that affects your brain and not just your back, but your organs versus here. That's why a lot of you guys who are getting adjusted, you're on the vibration plates, you're doing exercises at home. It's not just for mobility and neck and back pain, it's for lung capacity. So increasing by up to 30%, which helps your heart, your lungs, and all that. Beyond that, there's a story I want to share with you guys. If you guys have been around a lot of kids lately, or if you have kids and you're in a family, there's been a lot of what going around? Flu, sickness. I talk to teachers, they're like, oh my gosh, I have 25 kids and 9 of them are out sick. What in the world is going on? People will say, oh my gosh, stay away from me. I don't want you to get me sick. So here's the problem with that. And this is why your nervous system matters so much. There's 2 theories. There's germ theory and there's terrain theory. Germ theory says the virus, the bacteria, the germ is what causes disease and is the most important thing to focus on. So stay inside, double mask, be away from people. The other side is the terrain theory, which says, hey, germs are everywhere. It's all about how strong the host is. If the terrain is sick, filled with sugar and run down, then opportunistic viruses and bacteria will then be fertile ground. Your terrain is fertile for them to grow. But if the terrain isn't sick, it's not fertile, you can push it off. This is why during COVID, you had massive changes in people who got COVID. Yet some people get super sick and some people, a couple of days, nothing going on. It's like, how is the difference there? What's the deal? One of the biggest missed pieces is the nervous system. And this is how we found out. These are Siamese twins back in the USSR in the 70s, Masha and Dasha. They had completely separate spines and nervous systems only joined by the tailbone, but everything else, they had the same circulatory system, they had interlapping guts, they had shared limbs, all that. They breathed the same air. One of them would get sick and the other wouldn't. One of them got measles and the other didn't. It's like, wait a second, hold on. They share the same blood. They're 3 feet away from each other all the time, same air, everything. How in the world, if it's just the germ theory, if they got sick, the other person would get sick? Because exposure is the deal, right? Like, we did the contacts tracing in California. Like, it's crazy. You guys remember that. It's not just the exposure. It's all about host resistance. They had different brains and spines and nervous system. So this is why when you change this position of the spine, it improves the nervous system, which then connects to the immune system. If you have a strong nervous system, you got a strong immune system. If you're around sickness, you oftentimes won't get sick. If you do get sick, it's oftentimes shorter than everybody else. Raise your hand if you have been getting adjusted for a long time and you have seen immune system of you or your family members strengthen from getting adjusted. Yeah. That's one of the most common signs I see. Families who used to get sick year after year. We had a family, 4 kids, all of them 5 rounds of antibiotics before kindergarten, ear infections. They started getting adjusted, no more antibiotics. I mean, we could go on, but your nervous system controls more than just your neck and your back. So if your nervous system is controlling all of this and you don't want to wait for symptoms to figure it out, like what are some of the warning signs? What are some of the signals that tell you that the nervous system is out of whack and needs care? Here are things. These are not the problems. These are signals that there is an underlying problem. Headaches, depression, acid reflux like heartburn, high blood pressure, sciatica going down the leg, insomnia, vertigo, and neck and back pain. How many people do you know that have one or multiple of those? Yeah. So who needs to have their nervous system checked? Everybody. So oftentimes the problem that I see is people say, hey, I've got headaches and I need help for that with Excedrin. And then I've got acid reflux, so I need omeprazole to help my stomach. And my back hurts, so I do a pain patch there, and I can't sleep, so I'm taking a sleeping medication. Like all of those separate, distinct things can actually be caused from one thing, and that's a nervous system that is dysregulated. So you start from the base and you work out, you can take care of almost all of that stuff. We're going to go into food. We cannot talk about metabolism and weight loss without addressing weight loss drugs. And I'm only going to talk about this once, and I want you guys to know I understand why people take this, and there is no judgment. People take it because it works. If your only goal is to lose fat and lose weight, and that's the only specific goal, then yes, this will do it. My encouragement to you, lovingly though, is to say, hey, that is not your only goal. Weight loss does not equal health. I want you to be healthy, not have a lighter coffin. There are side effects to this stuff. You guys, does that make sense? So here's the thing. Just so you guys understand, so you can leave here with ammo, what do these drugs do? Can anybody tell me? What is that?
Kill your liver.
Thank you, but what does it actually, what's the mechanism of how they lose weight? Does anybody know? Decreases appetite. How? Does brain hormones? Okay, it slows your digestive system. Your stomach should empty between 3 and 4 hours. When you eat, it moves. Every meal you have, that's the same number of bowel movements, it should be moving. What these do is they delay gastric emptying. So the food you eat takes longer to pass through. This is why one of the common side effects is nausea. Okay, not in everybody, but it happens. But when you start messing with God's design of cycles in the gut or in the hormones or in sleep, there are side effects. And even if that isn't what you're experiencing, that is happening on some level. Gastric emptying is being delayed. So that can happen or that can cause gut dysbiosis. That can change insulin levels. That can cause ulcers, all this stuff that I hope if you're on that you never have that. I don't want that happening. But you got to understand that is the game that is being played. So if you eat the same amount of food and you're not on Ozempic, but you eat the same amount of food that someone on Ozempic is eating, you will lose the same exact amount of weight. You have to know that. It is just thermodynamics. It's not doing something special. So there are other natural ways to stimulate your body's appetite to go down that we'll talk about, one of them being leptin resistance. But you guys got to know that. Olive oil. When you start messing with the gut, you start changing cycles. There's side effects and third effects and all these co-effects. In the large intestine, what does delayed motion, what is that called? Constipation. Okay, serious though. What condition is most seriously caused by extended constipation? Do you guys know? Colon cancer. So this is what we're talking about. And that won't be shown in a study that says, hey, we followed these people on Ozempic for 6, 9, 12 months, 3 years, and everyone's fine, they got great results. What happens 20 years down the line if they're still taking that stuff? You guys got to remember, the American Academy of Pediatrics is recommending Wegovy and Ozempic to 12-year-olds. How long do you think they take it for? This is a life. So you guys just got to see that. I'm not judging. I just want to make sure you guys understand what game is being played either with or without your consent. And so here's the bigger thing. What's being caused by, what's responsible for the massive increase in weight and diabetes and all these things, one of the main culprits is ultra-processed food. These are things that have been changed from the original, like, natural form, boiled down, changed, dyed, spun, all this stuff. And that's where we're highest. We're one of the highest countries in the world with ultra-processed food intake. So here's what I want you guys to know. A 10% increase in calories from processed food, which is one, what is that? Munchkin. Where are those from again? Dunkin'. We're in the same parking lot. A half can of Coke and 18 Skittles. You guys, I could eat that without blinking, okay? Just that in a day led to an increase of 14% in mortality. Okay, so we have to cut the processed foods. You cut that, your risk of mortality drops way down. But here's the crazy thing. You would think like, oh, obesity, metabolic dysfunction is clearly being caused by the processed foods. Let's just drop those down, and so then we don't have to rely on these toxic shots anymore. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Instead, what they're doing is saying, hey, because we're going to be ultra-processed food and we make so much money from it, let's then purchase subsidies to make those weight loss drugs more affordable. Instead of acknowledging that we're the problem, let's pay for it. This is like the Coke Foundation, Coca-Cola, being one of the largest donors to the American Heart Association, which is why the only person that showed up when they tried to take Coca-Cola off of SNAP benefits, one of the only people that said, hey, please don't take Coca-Cola off of SNAP benefits, American Heart Association. Largest donor. So it's a game. It's a money game, and your health is being robbed if you don't see it for what it is. So you got to look at hormones. We talked about cortisol breaking down. Human growth hormone, leptin is what I want to talk about with you guys here. Hormones are powerful. I talked about 1 teaspoon of sugar in your blood being managed. Hormones like insulin, leptin are even smaller. So you've got 2 hunger hormones. Ghrelin causes hunger. Leptin is your body telling you, I'm full, okay? But if anybody has ever been around a group of people out to lunch, everybody's having the burger, and you're the person who has the salad and the water, and you're still gaining weight. Anybody? Okay, so this is likely what's going on. It's called leptin resistance. Let me walk you through it. As you gain fat cells increase in number, leptin levels go up, telling your body's trying to say, hey, we're full. If that doesn't get listened to, your cells kind of like turn off. Like if I have my 4 kids in the back and they're trying to tell me what song to play, I just got to tune them out and keep playing my Led Zeppelin. Like I'm in control. We're playing my music. I'm not listening to you. That's what your cells do to leptin, okay? They say, we're not listening, so the signal's disrupted, so now you start overeating, okay? And that increases calorie intake, which increases the weight gain. So it's this vicious cycle. Some people will call it increased hunger drive, or oh my gosh, I'm just not losing the weight. It's leptin resistance, okay? So how you reset that is very simple. This is the 3-step process. This is the advanced plan. I have seen the advanced plan fix countless different diagnoses, from diabetes and A1Cs of 14 to dementia and memory loss, to people losing 100 pounds in less than a year, just with this picture here, okay? So the three rules to this plan, and this is not meant to be done forever. This is meant to be done for healing. So when you're done healing something advanced, then you go back to what we call is the core plan, which is more of just like eat the food that God made, grains, bananas, all this stuff. But this one's highly restrictive, but it's doable. Number 1, cutting out sugar and most carbohydrates. So cutting out grains, fruit, except for berries, grapefruit, and Granny Smith apples. Because even with healthy grains, eventually it turns to sugar. If you ever had a piece of bread and you chew it for long enough, it starts to taste sweet. That's because it breaks down to sugar. But grain is actually really important for you to have if it is made fresh milled, organic, sourdough, just not on the advanced plan. But it is an essential piece to your diet. Okay, number 2 is protein. You want to change conventional protein like pork into higher qualities of meat, and you got to increase your fat, which sounds weird, but fat does not make you fat. It actually protects your brain and helps your hormones. All of your hormones are based in fat. But you do these 3 things, you will create the opportunity, the environment that your body has to heal. This is the advanced plan, okay? Yeah, I've seen autoimmune disorders, lupus, MS, change, high blood sugar, type 2 diabetes in 2 weeks, high inflammation, rheumatoid arthritis. This will decrease inflammation. So if you're interested in doing this style of eating, but you're like, hey, I know sugar is bad. You gave me that list. Sugar in the teeth cause cavities. Like, okay, what do I have that's sweet that isn't going to kill me? So these are the things you can have. The last 3 are if you're on the advanced plan. If you're just eating God food, you're not trying to heal something advanced, you can have the rest. But if you are trying to do advanced plan, stick to stevia, monk fruit, and erythritol. Some of you might have heard that there's some problems with erythritol or stevia. Those are at super high amounts. You look at these drops, you put a drop in your coffee and it's like, whoa, 10,000 times sweeter than sugar, but it's not going to cause all the ill effects. These are what you want to go to. But honey, completely different effect on insulin compared to other sweeteners, dates, maple syrup. I would caution maple syrup just because it is processed, it is condensed. I think it's like 10 gallons to 1 cup of sap to syrup that has to be processed to make maple syrup, okay? So that's what you can use as a sweetener. For good fats versus bad fats, this is all, I hope this is review for you guys by now since you're being in this office. If you leave margarine out in the woods, nothing's gonna eat it. The rest of these, canola oil used to be used for motors, and yeah, you don't want any of that stuff. You want organic butter, you want leafy green vegetables, salmon, super high in omega-3s. Olive oil from the olive mill is fantastic. Avocados, eggs, don't worry about the yolks. Fantastic stuff here. So this is just stuff that is in your packet when you have the screenshots and the QR codes, but just simple stuff that I don't know if I need to get into. But I do want to show you guys how industry is duping you. You've been hoodwinked. Okay, so this says Hellmann's olive oil mayonnaise dressing. Yes, finally, I don't have seed oils in my mayonnaise dressing because it says on the front olive oil. And yes, avocado oil, even better. I love it. You got to turn it over in the back. They can say olive oil if it's in there, but right beneath it, canola oil and soybean oil. Right beneath it, canola oil and soybean oil. So you just got to follow the incentives. Show me the incentives, I'll show you the outcome. Like when things are made at scale, the profit is the driver. It is cheaper to throw in canola and soybean than it is avocado and olive oil. So you really got to be wise and diligent at the stuff. One day, I hope you won't have this hoodwinking going on, but even when it says something is seed oil free or olive oil based or avocado oil based, always flip it over and see if that's actually true. So, you guys might have seen the new food pyramid. They say if the government tells you to do something, usually do the opposite, and that's the right direction. Well, that's what our government did. And I know there's different thoughts about RFK. My encouragement for you, don't let politics get in the way of your health. Just look at it objectively. You've got meat, vegetable, like this is all just good whole food. And when you look at this food pyramid, this is the way we used to eat, like hunter, gathering, foraging, lots of nuts, lots of berries, lots of meats, seeds, fruits, vegetables. Like this is the plan. This is what we would call like core plan of eating, okay? Eating God food, as I like to call it. Advanced plan would be just cutting off probably like here, no grapes, and like there up. But yeah, you don't want to see low-fat food. You want to increase your level of protein. If you are trying to build muscle and burn fat, your body needs calories to digest protein. Let me say that again. You will burn calories while converting protein to usable fuel. So not only is it going to strengthen your muscles and stabilize your joints, but if you're trying to expedite and build your basal metabolic rate so you're losing fat while you sleep, increasing your level of protein is the way to do it. So we have protein powders that are here. I love them. They're all grass-fed, organic, great. You should not just be getting your protein from powders. Like, God did not make you deficient in powders. Use them, but not only. What you want to do is you want to have more protein sources. Don't be afraid of red meat. Don't be afraid of fish. Don't be afraid of nuts and seeds. Like, that is all for you. If you are a counter of grams and calories and body weight and all of that, the recommended amount of protein is about 0.3 to 0.4 grams per pound of body weight. My recommendation, if you're really trying to heal, is more than double that. 0.7 to 1 gram of body weight per pound, per target body weight. So if you are 200 pounds, you want to be 170. For a male, go for 170 grams of protein a day. Like, that'll be good. For a female, you can get away with on the lower end, but that'll help keep the fire burning so you are building muscle and burning fat while you sleep. Anytime you concentrate something into a supplement form, you are concentrating the good with the bad. So you want to make sure the quality is ultra high, especially with proteins. Before I talk any more about supplements, I wanted to share a story with you guys that highlights mindset, because some of the stuff I'm saying you guys are vibing with, but some of it I can see is like, I don't know about this. Like, I've been told this, but you don't get this, whatever. This guy, Cliff Young, 1983, Sydney, Australia, 600-mile race, massive race through the Australian outback, okay? Takes professional runners 6 to 7 days to run this race. Cliff is a farmer. He's 61 years old. He shows up in overalls, farm boots, baseball cap, and a t-shirt. And everyone's like, hey, Cliff, have you run a race before? Nope. 5K? Nope. Marathon? Nope. Why are you here? I've always wanted to race, so I signed up. Do you know how long this race? Yes, 600 miles. Well, why do you think you can do it? Well, I'm a farmer, and I kind of chase my sheep and my cows all day, and I figured if I can do that, I can do this. So, gun goes off. He's surrounded by people half his age. The front pack shoots off, and Cliff is, they call it the Cliff Young Shuffle, right behind him, slowest of all the pack. 6 to 7 days is usually what it takes people to do. He didn't have a coach, which means nobody told him that he was supposed to run 18 hours and sleep 6. So while everyone was sleeping, what did Cliff do? He kept running. And in 5.5 days, he finished first and beat the world record by 12 hours. 61 years old, only race he ever ran in his life. The point of the story is this: who are you listening to? You'll be listening to a lot of people in the health space, even in the natural health space. Say, oh, protein is bad, right? All this stuff. Medical doctors saying one thing or the X. You have to listen to people who have seen what you have and gone there before. And like, if you're having, you bring your own food to a church potluck and you're like, hey, I'm not having gluten, I'm on the advanced plan, and people are looking at you funny. Like, you know what? That's okay. Don't worry about them. They were looking at Cliff funny when he didn't sleep for 5 days. But he was a champion. He's a winner. So listen to truth. Listen to what you know your body can do. That might mean not listening to the doctor, or it might mean not listening to the spouse or Aunt Carol saying, what are you doing eating red meat? Don't you know that causes cancer? It's going to kill you. It might mean not even listening to your own self-doubt. Because that's the thing. We sometimes are getting our own way. So when in doubt, be like Cliff. Listen to what you know is true. With making behavioral changes, this is the most concentrated picture I could show you guys. And this comes not from me, but from Atomic Habits. Raise your hand if you've heard about Atomic Habits. Okay, it's one of the most popular books in the last 10 years. But he talks about making habits like this. There's 3 layers of behavior change, and the more powerful the change is, the closer it is to the center. So least powerful is focusing on outcomes. I want to lose 30 pounds. I need to lose 30 pounds. I've got an outcome. I have no idea how I'm going to do it. I have no idea what type of person I need to become to get there. Like, the goal's there, it's clear, it might be smart, but there's no process. The next level, I am going to work out 18 minutes Monday through Friday. Now I've got the system of what I'm going to do to get there, and I might hit my outcome, but I'm still like, who's the type of person that goes and does the 18 minutes every day, Monday through Friday? The last is the most powerful. Not process, not outcome, but identity. I am the type of person who cares for my body because I want to lift my grandkids when I'm old. I am the type of person who makes healthy decisions even when I don't want to. Like, this is the type of thinking that has to happen. Some people call this affirmations. It doesn't have to be that, but they should be written or at least anchored, at least a couple of them. So like, hey, I am the type of person who stewards my body because it's a gift from God, and I want to make sure I squeeze everything out of this gift that God has given me to maximize my potential, my purpose on earth. That's what I want. I know it gets heavy there for a second, but that's the important piece. Like, you tap into that. That's Cliff Young stuff. That's running 5 days. This is where we see trajectory shift. And this is where I kind of want you guys to sit, because I meet with a lot of people, and I see over and over people coming in, years of not making the change, stuck on medications. I can help them, but only so much because I didn't meet them 10, 12, 20 years earlier. And so, just like I said at the beginning, like, if this is a time where you're like, hey, yep, I've done this before, I need to get back in it, boom, like, start now. If this is a time of like, I think I could do this, but I might fall off, like, you know what, that's okay. It's okay to do some. Some is better than none. Just stay engaged. Like, you can see results. And then there's some of you who are like, yeah, but, and there's an excuse there. And I love you for it, but I want you to know, like, you need to dig into this more. You need to journal, like, get rooted into the why beyond the self-doubt and the words that are happening in your brain of why you can't do this because you're something special, and it's all these different things. So I want to break through that with you. But you get to that identity point, that's where things change. Last piece, this is important, but not as important as everything else. We are selling supplements tonight at a massive discount. The 3 that I mainly recommend are called the Foundational 3: Cellular Health and Longevity, Inflammation and Immune Support, Digestion and Detox. If you have never taken supplements before, and you're like, I don't know if they're gonna work, I don't know, this would be a great place to start. This covers all the bases, from making sure that your inflammation levels are down and everything is grass-fed and grass-finished. The inflammation one brings down joint pain and fatigue. If you want massive hormone improvement and metabolic improvement, Cellular Health and Longevity is in there. And then for your gut health, if you want to make sure your microbiome and your detox pathways are working at 100%, the Digestion and Detox in there is going to be for you. Those formulations, it comes in a pack of 3. You can buy them separate, but if you buy them together, it's 15% off. All of our proteins are also 15% off. So if you're really wanting to try to do the core challenge, which is what I'm going to talk about next, you want to get those supplements. You'll love them, and the protein. The Core 30 challenge is this. You'll get the bundle, or you can do that. You'll have a QR code in a second of all of the workouts. There'll be journaling prompts for Monday through Friday to get your mindset right. There is a food guide of 3 meals a day, all through the week, of what to eat for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner. In combination with that, there is also a grocery list of what to buy each week. So I don't want to hear anybody say, I didn't know what to do. I didn't have the tools. Like, it is all there. If you wanted to turn your brain off and just say, autopilot, I am going to do this without any emotion, just complete robotic, you will see results. It is all there for you. You may not like all the food. That's okay. You can still eat it, okay? But that's in the Core 30 challenge. It's 30 days to change your life, bringing the identity of I am a healthy person who cares about my health there. So I want you guys, if you're interested, pull out your phone, take a picture of this, because this will be referenced for you later. This top QR code has all the grocery lists and the Core 30 challenge. It's like a 30-page document. Instead of printing it out, you can send it, you can open it. It's great. Down here are all the Max T3 workouts. This stuff is, it's really good. It's like free Orange Theory. Like, Orange Theory is great. If you need accountability, go pay and join a class. But if you're the type of person that just says, hey, give me the program, I will do it, then this is for you. Or you can do it with a husband or wife or spouse or fiance. This will have you log in and make an account, but there's no spamming. It's all there for you, okay? So, that stuff is free. Usually people will pay a health coach, I'll put it back up at the end. Usually people will pay a health coach and do all these different spending for that. It's all there for you. Like, the path is there. You just have to step forward one step at a time. So, we talk about chairs, beach chair, or wheelchair, it's not, am I going to end up in a chair? It's which chair am I going to end up in? So I encourage you guys, do not buy anything of supplementation without changing a lifestyle practice. That would be a net negative for you because it feels like you're doing something, but really the real work hasn't been done. I would encourage you, if you are doing the Core 30 Challenge, great. I'd love to know about it. If you are not, I'd love for you to write down, let's see, what's today? Tuesday? Write down 3 actions you can take from tonight that will take you in the trajectory towards health and healing and away from sickness and disease. If nothing changes in your life, you did not learn from this workshop, and has been a waste of your time and my time, and it's like, why are we doing this? It just tickles the brain. So I want you guys to have action from this. So write it down, 3 things. If you're a patient, I'm gonna ask you what that is, not to nag you, but to hold you accountable, because I want what's best for you. If there are any guests or anybody that you're thinking in your head like, hey, they really need this, share the tools with them. But also, if you're like, hey, no, they need more than that, they might need to come into this office. We have opportunities for them to come in at a discount within the next 2 weeks. If they mention your name and say, hey, Yolanda sent me in from the Younger Tomorrow workshop, it's instead of $210, it's $50. So 75% off for the next 2 weeks. That's consult, exams, x-rays. That's just for them to see like, hey, is my nervous system working properly? Is my bathtub clogged? Am I going towards health or sickness? But we'd love to help your loved ones with you so that they are joining you on that beach. And then lastly, we've got another seminar just like this, a little bit more specific. If you love the idea of brain health and you're vibing with like, yes, I want to be healthy as long as the years God has blessed me on this earth, and I want my brain specifically to last as long as my body, we're going to be talking about that April 22nd. It will fill up. There's a sign-up sheet at the front desk. You can sign up before you go. But it's all about how to minimize risk of Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, and get your brain as crystal clear and bulletproof as you possibly can right now. So that's everything I have for you guys. I encourage you, jump in with something. You have product order forms. If you wanted to order something at a discount, the easiest way to do that is to write on there and check it off and give it to one of our team members. If we have it in stock, great, they'll give it to you tonight. If they don't, we'll order it and we'll give it to you next time you're in the office. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for coming out. I'll be up here to answer questions as long as I'm needed. Love and appreciate you guys. Have a great night.